So I want to do a test on some different stone with a different type of wood finish. So this is a polyurethane, I think it is, but it's along that same line. It's a thicker liquid, not it's kind of a semi-liquid, and you can rub it on the wood, and you just rub it on. Don't leave any excess, and then it hardens. So it's marketed as a wood product for wood. I'm pretty sure it said it was a polyethylene base. And it does harden, probably quite hard. Often these types of things are used on flooring and countertops. So I want to try it on stone. So we have a Dolomite here, which is very similar to a marble. This one happens to be Areolis white. Polished. I don't know if you can see yeah, you can see some glare coming off it. It's polished from the window. Here we have another Dolomite. Dolomites and marbles are very similar. Dolomites have a little magnesium in them, whereas marbles are calcium carbonate. These are magnesium calcium carbonate, but they're very close. They're considered a little bit harder, but they're very similar in properties. This one's a leathered. So when I touch it, I can feel the variation in height. And the reason is because they did diamond brushes on it, and the softer parts of the stone, the brush went in a little deeper. So you get that kind of variation. You can get that. It's not flat. It's not flat. It's like a soft mountaintop, essentially. And you can't, I don't know if you can see in the video, but what you can see is the lack of reflection. You just don't get that same reflection. Here we have a granite, and this is a polished surface, so you can see the reflection. Very flat, very smooth. Here we have a quartzite. So this is also polished. You can see the reflection coming off it. I did grind the edges and sand it a little bit on all of these pieces. Take the sharpness off. As far as hardness, the Dolomite are considered the 4 or 5 on the mole scale, and the granite's like 8, and these 9 quartzite. So difference in hardness, probably differences in porosity, probably the most porous, a little bit less porous, and probably the least porous. But we have natural edge on all of them. Oh, except for, well, yeah, it's not polished really, it's a cut edge. I did hand sand to take a little bit of the sharpness off. So what I want to do is rub this wood finish on, because I'm quite sure it's going to go into the pores. Even though there's not as many pores here, it still will go in some, and on the edges it's going to go in quite a bit, and then it's going to harden, and it hardens pretty fast. So you don't want to just keep wiping, because pretty soon it's starting to harden and you can't even really wipe across it. So you kind of do it quick, and then I'm going to set them aside, and we'll take a look at them afterwards. But notice the edges are raw, and that's what they look like, the raw edges. And I think that's where it's going to have the biggest effect, is it's going to make the raw edges more polished, more finished, I should say that, more finished. And you probably will take away these grind, the look of the raw where it's ground. But let's go ahead and do it. I can't really do it while I'm holding this, so let's, unless maybe I could do a little bit. Let me grab a screwdriver. See how it's kind of a paste. And I'm sure you can get this in multiple brand, combinations, but kind of the same idea though. Kind of a pasty. And you can see it's bringing out some color. And I'm using kind of a white rag because I don't want to transfer any color into the stone, especially the whiter stones. Okay, I'm going to stop videoing, but it kind of gives you an idea of what it's doing. It's and maybe what it's going to do is the polished ones are going to look a little bit more textured, which is okay with me. I actually prefer the textured look. So if you love the polish, this is probably not the thing to do. But the other reason I'm trying this out is protecting the stone. This might be one method to protect countertops. There's many sealers out there. Some are more aggressive than others. If you really love that polished look, you really have to stick with the other ones. This is just something I'm testing on, because dolomites and marbles are more susceptible to acidic solutions and materials. And plus, is this considered food safe? Well, this is marketed for wood countertops. So once it's hardened, I'm quite sure that it is, but we'll do a video about that whole food safe thing, because how safe is it? It's not like I would never recommend grabbing the fork and eating off it. And there's a difference between putting crackers on it versus putting raw meat on it and stuff like that. So I think there's a variation in safety difference. But this is just a show. I don't want to get into that. That's something you can research. But you do kind of see some texture going on here. And these are pieces that I want to use as accent pieces. So they're not really for eating off of or anything like that. Okay. Let's do it. Let's let them harden, and then we'll take a look at them.